Dire team ban. TNC Predators turn to ban. Dire team ban. TNC Predators turn to ban. Dire team ban. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. TNC Predators turn to ban. Dire team pick. TNC Predators turn. TNC Predators turn to. Dire team pick.
Venomancer.
Dire team ban.
Razor.
TNC Predators turn to ban. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. TNC Predators turn to ban. TNC Predators turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Crystal Maiden.
TNC Predators turn to pick. 10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Mirana.
seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. TNC Predators turn. Dire team banned. Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick. TNC Predators turn.
Weaver. Brood
Choose your
mother.
hero. Prepare for battle.
Bow to your lord. Rock'em sock'em.
Ooh, costly.
High ground black hole. It was quite fantastic to watch. There won't be any black holes this game, but
Seconds to battle.
see what other kind of magic he can pull off in this game on Rubik. New banner in spots as well do make the early game a little bit awkward. See which one you really want to choose here. March has headed over the bounty, but it does look like Geekfam are planning to lock both these bounty runes down. Meanwhile, top lane though, TNC, they're trying to secure one. They will manage to get it. KP does pick it up, but he's copping a fair bit of damage here from Raven, and they're going to continue chasing KP down. In fact, this may just be first blood. It looks like it will not be enough in the end. One more hit may have done it, but KP will be able to salve up, and it looks like Tims will be able to find the secondary boundary rune as well. So they don't really take advantage of the Sakuchi movement speed and steal the other one. Rather, they do try to chase down KP, and they won't really get anything but a salve out of it. So with this laning stage, at the very least top lane, it does seem like Raven shouldn't have too hard of a time on the Weaver, especially with Doobie there on the IO, keeping him up and running. Of course, KP and Tim's going to have something else to say about that, but Raven should be relatively safe, at least for the early stages. Of course, mid lane, we do see Ryoya up against Armel on the Brood. And at the very least, you've got the Plasma Field that you can use to clear those Spiderlings, like we already talked about. But it certainly isn't the most reliable way of clearing them out. See how Armel deals with it. He'll be more than happy to rotate into the jungle if he does run into any problems up against Ryoya anyway. Of course, there are added benefits to that in this patch as well. Bot lane, Cuckoo and Zephyr, they'll be up against March and of course Gabby on the Tiny. And this should be more of an even trade lane. Like, you can't really imagine too much happening down bot. Of course, you could set up for an Avalanche toss combination, but Gabby looks like he's probably just going to be setting up to farm for a while. Cuckoo's certainly not going to be a very easy target to take down on the Abaddon anyway. And even if they go for Zephyr, you've still got the Aphotic Shield to be thrown out by Cuckoo. Will manage to snag those jungle creeps away from Zephyr on the Rubik. You will see Tims throwing out those arrows in the jungle as well, just getting that XP as well as gold, but hoping that there'll be some drops coming out for him, some that suit his hero anyway. Stu will rotate around as well. We'll say hello to Tims. Will just back off. Arrow though, connect on the range creep. Won't really catch Raven on the Weaver. So far so good for Raven. 10 last hits, 1 deny. KP definitely keeping up though with 10 last hits of his own. 1 deny himself as well on the Veno. So an even trade lane going on right now. Does certainly seem as though TNC are winning the harass battles though. Geekfam certainly going through a lot more regen than TNC is up this top lane, at least for now. Meanwhile, mid Armel, gonna go after Ryoya behind the tier 1. Doesn't really want to dive the tier 2, but he does force him out of the lane. That'll mean this Broodmother can just keep free farming up. Ryoya just gotta be very careful. He does bring out a salve and use that, but he won't have any other regen available for himself. So he can't really afford to let Armel get that close with all the spiderlings once again. You can already see Armel microing those spiderlings very, very well up against Ryoya, ensuring he never feels safe to come in for a last hit. And once again, he'll dive the tier 1 tower, force him back towards that tier 2. Meanwhile, Tims does find a courier, and that was Raven's courier, the Weaver. Looks like his boots were on there, and he will lose them for at least a couple of minutes. So nice little play there from the Mirana. Oh, Gabby falling quite low on the Tiny, but he'll salve up as well. Armel gonna start rotating to the jungle now. He's already level 5 on this Brood. Pretty much he can just keep doing this over and over again. Still not one kill happening. We're about 4.5 minutes in. There will be those 5-minute banner-ins coming up very, very soon, though. So I imagine we will see a first blood soon. Although, as I say that, Armel is going to dive to tier 2 now. Ryoya really has nowhere to go, and he doesn't have any help coming in. The spiderlings, can they find the damage? Maybe not quite, as he is going to be able to walk away with about 10 HP. In fact, make that 6.
Under attack.
6 HP Ryoya gets away on. Very close call. I don't think Armel's going to be too unhappy about leaving him to walk away anyway. You're going to be able to force a lot of time being wasted from Ryoya on the Razor. Armel, of course, will just free farm the mid lane once again.
Denied.
You look back down at bot lane as well. Gabby, he's having a great old time. 24 last hits, 5 denies. In comparison to the 18 and 4 of Cuckoo on the Abaddon, they really haven't been able to shut him down very much throughout this game. Not quite yet, anyway.
Dire's courier.
Meanwhile, Tim's once again gonna find Raven's courier. Second time this game, Raven, he just throws out the courier, trying to bring a bottle and a Wraith Pan recipe for himself, ends up paying for it. Tim's is just all over it. And I suppose that's another thing you've got to look out for in this patch. You've got so many couriers flying out, you can't just feed them. In fact, a nice arrow comes out from Tim's mid lane. Dubu tries to help, but it's all too late as Ryoya goes down, and it looks like Dubu's going down as well. Armel picks up a double, and this mid lane is completely lost for Geekfam. Armel has just completely dominated it. He's going to be able to find the tier 1 tower now as well. And if you're Ryoya, you might be able to farm near the tier 2 now, but it looks like it's not going to be the greatest game for this Razor.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
It's hard to know what he can do at this rate. Razor isn't the best farmer in the jungle either. It really depends as to whether Armel's going to back out of this lane or not. For now, though, he is not, but looks like once Ryoya comes back in, Armel is just going to wait in the tree line, see if he can find another opening, or rather just go farm the jungle. Though Tims could be in a bit of danger on the Mirana. Looking for another courier, it looks like, but Raven is on his backside now. Tims will leap up the cliff and go for the immediate TP. Plasma Field will get vision, but it will not be good enough. Tims does get out of there safely. And it looks like we do have our first jungle item, being the Iron Talon coming out. And that is going to go straight onto Armel. So if his farm wasn't fast enough, it's going to be a hell of a lot faster now. Really don't mind that on the Brood. Does love farming that jungle. Better than farming the jungle, why not just farm heroes as Ryoya gets caught out once again. Static Click will be there, but the spiderlings aren't going to get their damage sapped away, and he does go down. That's going to be the third kill going out for Armel now on the side of TNC. In fact, every kill this game so far has gone to the Brood. You look at Armel's net worth, 4.2k. He's 1.4k ahead of the secondary net worth being the Weaver. And it looks like Tims has found himself some royal jelly. There you have it, 2.5 health regen and 1.3 mana regen. Permanently on the Mirana now. That is not too bad if I do say so myself. You have another one, Keen Optic, coming out now. So you've got some added cast range on Cuckoo, although Gabby will go down bot lane on the Tiny. Cuckoo, where did that go? Gave it off to the Rubik, so Zephyr's got the Keen Optic now. Cuckoo doesn't want it, doesn't need it. Does suit the Rubik quite well, especially throughout this early to mid.
Curry has been killed.
Tims, once again, we'll find another courier. That's the third courier this game for Tims. This time around it will be Dubu's rather than Ravens, but it's still going to be very frustrating for the side of Geekfam.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
To be fair though, they haven't really put any vision up on this high ground apart from the Sentry Ward, but they haven't really dewarded that Observer Ward there either.
Radiant's top tower is under
So
attack.
Tims can just keep doing this over and over again. In fact, now they're going to try and find him. He will just leap away and look at Armel. He'll come in on the Brood, although that Plasma Field does take away a lot of his Spiderlings. But Tims will be able to just get out of there safely once again. Geekfam, apart from that one kill onto Gabby, struggling just a bit, although they are going to chase Gabby once again. Do slow him up. Tims will throw out the arrow onto Cuckoo. TNC won't chase any longer. In fact, Geekfam will continue chasing Tims. Gabby gonna go back in. Avalanche will be there. The bannerons do pop up as well. Gabby gonna try and chase for it, but Cuckoo does find them. Now Geekfam, they want to dive in into this tree line. They really want this Tiny, but there's the CM ultimate coming out from March. Cuckoo doesn't want to deal with this any longer. He doesn't have borrowed time available at the moment either. Gabby, 5 seconds for the Avalanche. Trying to get control of that tower. Cuckoo still trying to man-fight this. Avalanche will be there on Zephyr. Toss as well, but it won't be enough. In fact, Gabby now going to be in trouble. Cuckoo going to chase in the Fade Bolt. Will end up finding him. Very nice from Geekfam as they go for more. March now is sitting duck. He'll go down as well. Cuckoo, he will not chase for Tims, but they find two very nice pickups. And they will be able to get control of this outpost to boot. And Dubu will go ahead and take that right now. Of course, the outposts are very, very valuable, not only for the vision they give you, but that added XP does allow you to snowball. And as I say snowball, Armel gonna find Ryoya and will find himself another item, an arcane ring this time around. Doesn't really suit the Broodmother, but he can always give it to the CM or Mirana.
Radiant's structures are fortified.
It's basically a mini arcane boots, I believe. In fact, yeah, it is.
Radiant's bottom tower.
So TNC do seem to be getting fairly lucky with these RNG drops from the neutrals.
Dire structures.
That Gabby just found a poor man's shield as well.
Bottom tower is under attack.
It does feel slightly late for a poor man's shield to be that effective, but it still can be of use. Especially as Gabby is farming the jungle right now, so it's definitely going to help him sustain a lot longer while he's jungling. Geekfam still haven't done anything about Armel. Armel's just been freely farming the mid lane, freely farming the dire jungle. He's got 7.5k net worth now. He's literally 3k ahead of the Weaver. He has not been punished whatsoever. He's got the full diffusal up as well, and it's just, what do you do about this if you are Geekfam? We do finally see a smoke being bought by Zephyr, but he's not really in position to get that smoke going with his team yet. While all that's been happening in the mid lane, KP's been forcing out the top lane, and again, they haven't really been able to stop him. now that Armel's here, it's going to be much harder to stop this push coming in from TNC. Geekfam, the way these lanes went for them, it just seems almost impossible to defend. Perhaps once that pipes up on Cuckoo, they may feel a little more comfortable, but it's not going to do much about the Broodmother. Dubu now got to be careful. The Dire Jungle, they are going to end up finding KP, but he just TPs away. In fact, he cancels that off now. The Moonlight Shadow and Armel are there. Another courier being killed off. This time it's Zephyr's, and it looks like Zephyr is going to lose his own life. So Tim's with his 4th courier of the game, and they find the hero, and they might even find Raven. He tries to scooch away. Looks like he will take control of the outpost, but Tim sees him. At the very least, Raven does dodge the arrow, but Tim's is not done yet. He jumps in. It's a lot of damage on Raven. He'll time-lapse away. The KP's going to chase. They got the poison over off, and now Raven, he might just be dead.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Another courier going down, this time by Armel. TP will be there by Raven. It looks like he will end up surviving. But we've got a 4K net worth lead now for TNC. I mean, you could argue Raven is still farming well on the Weaver, but it just doesn't seem like it's anywhere near fast enough to be effective. And Armel now is keeping tabs of everyone on the side of Geekfam. Raven desperately trying to get that Maelstrom up. Cuckoo does find himself a mango tree.
That should help me.
It is mango season after all. And there it is. Let the mangoes pop out. In fact, he's just going to plant it and leave it. Nice guy, Cuckoo. Just giving the side of TNT some mangoes, because they need it right now, clearly. Gabby, gonna find Vampire Fangs now. Who does he give it off to? Looks like Ryoyo finds some as well. Dragon Scale being picked up by Gabby.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Geekfam looking to make a play down to this bot lane. Trying to force in this tier 2 tower. March is the only one there, but they are TPing in with the Moonlight Shadow. Still Geekfam not backing off yet. Arrow will not connect from Tim's, but they will force them away. Geekfam, they do not want to take a 5v5. And as well as that, you look at Armel, he's just pushing in a tier 3 top tower. Zephyr is forced to defend. And Armel now has an Aghanim Scepter. Well, that's concerning. So you got a lot more webs coming out from the Brood. Just no stopping insight for TNC. And I suppose if you're Geekfam right now, you've just got to hope and pray that you get some amazing jungle items. Hasn't happened so much as of yet for Geekfam. We just saw the Dragon Scale dropping for Raven, but that isn't really as effective as you would hope in trying to push it back your way. But he does have the Maelstrom up now as well, so that should help the cause a little bit.
Invisibility.
You see Armel now with the Nether Shoal. Well, mid lane, March channeling that ultimate, doing a lot of damage to Raven, but he does go down. KP is going to be here. In fact, Armel joins as well. They're going to try and chase down the side of Geekfam. Looks like they will find Ryoyo with the defusal. They're trying to get him out of there, but Dubu can't get him out in time. The relocate needed half a second more, and he will not have the time to do it. Very least, Geekfam may not lose any more. As I say that, Cuckoo does get caught out, but they will not continue the chase on a Baton. Rather, they do find the relocating Dubu. They do find a secondary kill in the IO. TNC is 7-5 now, but more importantly, an 8K net worth lead. Complete map control to boot. Zephyr does steal the webs and does use it to his advantage. Tim's probably just looking out for another courier, keeping the top lane pushed in. Vampire Fangs do seem pretty darn good.
Radiant are scanning.
Rio, you're going to take advantage of that item. Cuckoo could be in trouble bot lane as Gabby has rotated around. He does have some help with him as well, but it's just a hard target to go after. They're going to try anyway, though. Here comes Armel. Spiderling's in first. Cuckoo does back off. He's not interested in fighting this. They do lose the outpost as well. And with that, the tier 1 tower is just basically gone. Cuckoo's still sticking around, but he's been diffused up by Armel. He'll be alright, though.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
TNC, they take the T1, they do go straight back up top where KP does teleport towards the outpost. And actually with the Vampire Fangs on KP, that does seem a little bit overpowered. 8% spell lifesteal on a Venomancer. Once that Poison Nova's off, if you hit all 5 heroes, how do they kill you? Raven, gonna cop an arrow from Tim's. He does have Dubu around the area. Gale and Poison Nova does come out, but KP, does he cop damage? Looks like he does manage to TP away just in the nick of time. Tim's now gonna try and turn it around with the rest of his team as Gabby gonna continue chasing. They found the arrow onto Ryoya. Still, he does manage to walk away in the nick of time, but March is chasing as well. They get the avalanche toss by Gabby. Looks like the Razor still managing to get out of there thanks to Cuckoo, but his life should just be forfeit here, though Tim's getting pretty low himself. Looks like he will just accept his own death. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Make that a 2-for-1 trade thanks to Gabby. And a 10k net worth lead and multiple bounty runes for the side of TNC. I believe they've just got an all-4 now. Unless Raven can go in there and steal it, but he will not make it in time. And that'll force it to an 11k net worth lead now for TNC. And as that happens, Armel does finish off the full BKB, and it is out on the courier as we speak. Dota Plus. A pretty high chance of winning this game. Cuckoo going to be chased down mid lane. We'll pop the borrowed time and we'll be okay. The TNC, seeing that borrowed time being popped, understand they can just go for the Roshan attempt. They've got a double damage in there on Gabby to boot, and yeah, it's going to be quite an easy Roshan for TNC. I can't imagine Geekfam actually trying to contest this. Looks like Ryoya has actually found a pretty useful item though in the Grove Bow. Plus 100 attack range and reduces magic resist by 12% towards the target he's attacking. Seems pretty good. We'll see if he uses it though. Aegis will be given away to Gabby on that Tiny. Looks like Ryoya is desperately just trying to finish off that BKB so he can actually get into those fights and just sit in the middle, linking up whoever he wants. You'll see as well Raven trying to do the exact same thing. I mean, Gabby is just a major problem on that Tiny. They need to be able to just sustain with that magic immunity for a while. You're always going to have the problem of Armel there on the Brood though.
You have learned nothing.
kind of surprised TNC hasn't really forced the issue in terms of high ground yet as a team. They do still have that bot tier 2 tower remaining, but just with the net worth lead they have, it seems like it would be a very easy high ground up against Geekfam. But they are being cautious. Again, it is a new patch, so you never really know what could happen. No harm in just continuously farming up the jungle. It looks like Cuckoo's actually just transitioned to a Radiance on the Abaddon now. So feeling like he needs that added damage, needs the added mischance in these team fights. I don't disagree with him, especially up against those Spiderlings. It just gives you another way to clear them out. Will he have time to get it though? Is the real question in all this. Cool. Not going to be the target they want, but they found Ryoya. Still, Ryoya has plenty of help around him. It looks like he will be safe. He does have that BKB up. So does Raven. Do switch up some items a bit. They'll give the boat away to the Weaver. Give Ryoya those Dragon Scales. Moonlight Shadow going to be popped. TNC though, who are they going for? Looks like they found Zephyr. He's just going to TP out of there and does actually make it out alive. March was lifted up and couldn't get the Frostbite out in time. Raven actually going to stick around down at the bot lane, try to go after KP or at least set up a kill onto KP. Meanwhile, up at the top lane, Dubu does end up losing his life to Gabby on the Tiny. The tips do immediately come out from Tim's. Raven gets started on the CM, but just completely gives up on it, while Armel mid lane gonna go after the tier 3 tower by himself. He gets lifted up. Now remember, he doesn't have the Aegis. It's actually Gabby who has it. But it doesn't matter, he just walks out of there. Doesn't need to pop the BKB either, just casually walks out. Meanwhile, bot lane, you'll see Raven going down, as Gabby does find him with Tim's on the Mirana. That's going to make it a 12-6, but an 18k net worth lead. And it looks like we found more items now. Armel going to find the Helm of the Undying. So 5 seconds after he dies, he's still there. That is very scary if you are up against this Broodmother. He won't put it into his bag yet though. He's going to hold out on it for a bit. In fact, he gives it over to March. Gabby. Just going to get started on the tier 3 while all that's happening. Does just take it for free. Now they're going to go for more. They found Zephyr with the Frostbite though. Dubu trying to protect. It will allow him to get out of there. Armel will pop the ultimate. Gabby jumps in, avalanche toss straight onto Dubu, and that Io's gone. They're trying to fight back towards Gabby, but Armel just standing there, man fighting up against Ryoya. He will back off. Shrines can now be taken. And that is exactly what TNC planned to do, it looks like. No, Aegis will expire now on Gabby.
Dire's bottom shrine is under.
Does it really matter though? I'm not 100% sure.
Bottom shrine.
I mean, you could literally give the Helm of the Undying to Gabby if you really wanted to. It does appear that they're happy to just keep it on March for now though. It will actually smoke up. Armel perhaps going to be playing the bait in the mid lane. Geekfam just maintaining that high ground. They'll smoke up as well. He's got the Assault Cuirass sitting there on Armel now though. In fact, he's got a Paladin Sword.
Dire's top shrine is under attack.
Seems like a pretty balanced item.
Dire's
They'll take the shrine.
has fallen.
Geekfam still looping around their own jungle, trying to find a target. Nobody is around them though. Perhaps they just go for the outpost steal. So they could do that. Only issue is TNC is still pushing in the mid and bot lane. But it does appear that's exactly what they're doing. But look at TNC immediately TPing in. They are not allowing that outpost to go away. And so that smoke rotation for the outpost basically wasted. KP though gets lifted up. This could be a very nice pickup here for Geekfam. KP gonna TP away again, and apparently he just needs to TP to get out. I can't really remember how many times KP's done that this game, but it just seems like he's doing it over and over again, and they just can't get the bastard. While all that was happening, by the way, Gabby does find Greater Fairy Fire, so he can instantly restore 500 health, and he has 2 of them. That's nice. Essentially half a cheese is now sitting on Gabby. Gabby though, gotta be careful, but a quick blink out. KP is around the area. He's there to help if necessary, but Geekfam don't look to push any further. Raven, what did you just find? Enchanted Quiver. Never mind that, because bot lane, it looks like Zephyr has lost his life to the Tiny. Gabby does find a secondary in Dubu, and now they're going to go after Ryoya on the Raven, or rather, on the Razor, but he does BKB TP out. Raven is trying to fight back on the Weaver. He's BKB'd up as well, but it looks like he just wants to get out of there now. Tims does throw out the arrow. Time-lapse will be there, though, from Raven. Gabby has not given up quite yet. The Tiny is chasing. Avalanche will not connect. Raven does TP in the end. Now we can have a proper read of the Enchanted Quiver. 400 bonus range and 170 bonus magical damage and true strike. Well, that seems extremely balanced. It's going to be pretty darn good for this Weaver. And I suppose this is the beauty about this patch, is you can be as far ahead as you want on one side of things, but the other team can come back just due to some luck from the jungle. Still though, with a 30k net worth lead on TNC, it's going to be much harder than just picking up some jungle items and hoping for the best. They found somebody else. In fact, it is Raven on the Weaver. Tims, though, doesn't want to deal with this, wants to back out, though no, he'll turn around. They get the Frostbite, they get the stun, but unfortunately it looks like they are going to lose March, though no, he'll force staff out of there for now. Moonlight Shadow has been popped as well. BKB now from Raven, though March is still running out of there as a Crystal Maiden. They just can't kill the supports either. Raven, he will eventually find him, surely, though no. March survives the uphill miss coming out from Raven on the Weaver. And that is pretty darn demoralizing, not being able to kill off a Crystal Maiden as a Weaver. March will just walk out of there safely. We'll see Tims now, he does have the Gem of True Sight, so that Weaver not going to be able to just invis himself out of there. And of course it is just going to assist in taking complete map control, ensuring no wards can come out from the side of Geekfam. Speaking of map control, another Roshan, another Aegis, and a cheese this time for TNC. Poor March, he's just a walking backpack right now for the team. himself. Avalanche is going to be there on Ryoya, but doesn't get the toss though. They get the arrow, Ryoya. He will have the aphotic shield. Mel was playing a few rack games down at the bot lane while all that was happening, but doesn't really find a racks. TNC to find the secondary racks of the game. Gonna go after Cuckoo now on that Abaddon. No toss back from Gabby, but they do proc to borrow time. Avalanche, though, gonna be stolen by Zephyr and thrown back, and Raven gonna have a goal this tiny, but won't really get anywhere. Meanwhile, bot Armel gonna go after Ryoya now on the Razor just by himself. He'll continue chasing. He still has the BKB. In fact, it's still a 10-second charge. Cuckoo, meanwhile, mid lane almost goes down, but not quite, as Gabby is gonna be chased by Raven. The Raven will turn his attention toward Tim's. He leaps out, and now the Brute is the only one left, but they can't even kill Armel. He'll just run out of there as well, and it looks like they are jumping back in. Gabby, he finds both the Rubik and Raven on the Weaver. Doobie is gonna go down to this Brood. Armel does not care about anything on this Spider. The Aegis has gone, but who the hell cares about that? As the Crystal Nova is procced by March, he takes down one in the form of Ryoya. Cuckoo's going down as a fourth, and it looks like it will be a full team wipe. Ultra kill out there for Gabby, and he might just go for the Rampage now. He saw the buyback on Cuckoo. Cuckoo is going to be the Rampage coming out for Gabby on the Tiny.
TNC Predators turn to ban. Dire team ban. TNC Predators turn to pick. Dire team pick.
Puck!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for game number 2 between TNC Predator and, of course, Geekfam. It is MLP Dota, and as you can see, the draft has already started. But in case you weren't here for game number 1, to put it as bluntly as possible, TNC basically ran a broodmother and essentially had the game in the bag from the get-go, I would say. I mean, they had the network lead the whole time. Momentum was there the whole time for the side of TNC. Geekfam, unfortunately, after the laning stage, couldn't really get on top of things during that game number 1. Though game number 2, I'm sure things should be very, very different for this Dire side. Time will only tell, though, as the draft is underway, and we do see TNC Predator. They do get started with the puck. Geekfam, I mean, they are into their first pick, but they are using their reserve time straight off the bat. They're going to think about this one carefully. That is arguably a bit of an unusual opening from the side of TNC with that puck. Though it looks like Geekfam will just go for the safety pick in the Rubik, and once again, they do go for the Abaddon. I suppose the question will be whether they do opt to run that in the off lane or whether they just will run it as a support in the safe lane. I imagine they may want to switch it up a bit, as Kuka couldn't really do much on the Abaddon in that game number 1. Wasn't really so much his fault, it just seemed like none of the heroes on the side of Geekfam could really get up and online up against a side like TNC. Well, now TNC, they will go for the Vengeful Spirit pickup. Do have that nice little combination where you can essentially use the puck ultimate and then swap someone out of it if you really want to get that guaranteed stun off. Other than that, though, the Venge is just a very useful support to have overall, especially with that aura. We do see where we go with it. The Alchemist will be the 4th ban for TNC now. Geekfam. What do they opt to ban out? We saw them get rid of KP's Veno. They don't want to have to deal with that again. It was quite an annoying presence, as you had this Brood, you had this Veno. They just kept pushing the lanes out constantly. And it never seemed like Geekfam could get any sort of map control. They will go ahead and ban out the TA again as well. They don't want to have to deal with that Armel TA.
Dire team ban.
TNC, though, not much time thinking about it. They'll go ahead and get rid of the Lycan. Geekfam. One more ban for them.
Seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
And it looks like they might just go into the reserve time for this 5th ban.
Dire team pick. TNC Predator.
Get rid of the Timber and go straight into the Dragon Knight. Very safe kind of call to have. Even if you don't get a good start on the DK, it still generally goes okay. You can push towers down very easily with that Dragon form. A tanky hero overall to try and deal with in the team fights. And most of the time, DK just doesn't lose the lane.
Dire team pick.
TNC, though, they'll go into the Undying pickup. So against a very strong lane presence from the side of TNC, this Undying in the previous patch was okay. I mean, I would say it was below average in terms of actual ability from the hero. It was always good during the early game, but once you hit the mid to late game, it basically dropped off quite hard.
5 seconds.
But we will see how it performs in this new patch. It's Geekfam now. Again, letting that reserve time go. About a minute left.
TNC Predators turn to
They will go back to that Keeper of the Light. It did have some slight nerfs coming out, but it is still a very viable hero. TNC, once again, not really thinking about their pick whatsoever. They go straight into the Outworld Devourer. And up against that Dragon Knight, this hero is very, very potent. So the Arcane Orb does not care for the armor of the DK. And of course, the Sanities is also very, very useful. You can just keep spamming the Arcane Orb, and once you've stolen enough intelligence, you just drop the hammer on the heads of the side of Geekfam. Again, this draft from TNC does just look so darn strong already. Apart from that Will-O-Wisp and perhaps the DK stun, I don't really see a way of dealing with the OD. Once the BKB's out on Armel, there's basically no stopping him. He's just got free reign over the team fights. Of course, Geekfam do have one last pick to make, so they can always change things up with this draft. This final ban. 10 seconds reserve time left for Geekfam.
Predators turn
Get rid of the Void.
TNC Predators turn
TNC, they'll get rid of the Brood themselves this time around. They don't want any shenanigans.
Dire team pick.
Straight into the Gyrocopter for TNC. This hero, again, just never seems to ever disappear from the meta. It's always viable. TNC will happily take it. I mean, with that new jungle, the jungle items coming out, TNC farming multiple stacks with the Gyrocopter, it's going to be a lot of items dropping.
5 seconds remaining.
You saw last game, they were taking full advantage of those items. Geekfam, they go back into the Razor. So they're feeling confident with this Razor pick once again. It does appear that Cuckoo will be on the position 3 Abaddon. So they have gone for a very, very similar kind of draft here, Geekfam. At the very least, they do give Raven the DK instead. Won't have that Weaver, but I don't know if the DK is a much better choice. It does work well up against the Gyrocopter due to just his heavy armor, but again, once Armel's up and online with that BKB, I don't really see a way to deal with him. Static Link can still be pretty good, but you gotta close the gap. Just in terms of laning stage as well, it does seem like TNC do have the advantage. You've got that Undying that pretty much always wins you the lane. OD doesn't really lose lanes, and Gyrocopter doesn't really lose them either. Interestingly, though, we do have a position 4 puck. KP will be playing the position 3 Vengeful Spirit. TNC experimenting a little bit with their draft. See how it all pans out. Of course, this is a best of 2 series. TNC looking to 2-0 if they possibly can, and Geekfam definitely want to try and tie this up. Can. We'll get into a game number 2.
Prepare for battle.
Interesting. Interesting.
TNC going into this, the heavy favorites. They were the major winners after all. And Geekfam, it's a little unfortunate they had to verse TNC of all teams to start their day off, but that's how the cookie crumbled. Good to see that both teams are in high spirits though. Again, a little bit of banter coming out from either side.
"30 seconds to battle."
Geekfam setting up for the left side bounty. See if TNC does try to contest the one near the outpost. KP is starting to set up on the Venge.
The battle begins.
Looks like Raven should be able to go. In fact, no, KP does manage to snag it away from Raven. It will be a 2-for-2 trade on the bounties anyway, though. Still not too big of a deal. Dubu does cop a fair bit of damage off the puck. It'll be okay. Because it's one of the positives about having a position 4 puck. It hits so darn hard. Hard to lose the harass war between the supports if you are playing the puck. Does have the ring of Bassi there as well. Mid lane, Mel gonna be up against Ryoya. This should be a little bit easier for Ryoya, but then again, you've got the Astral Imprisonment that can just be spammed out from Mel. You won't really be able to get the full effect of the static link off. Mel, not really the kind of player to make a mistake with the Astral either. I doubt he'll use it too early and not have it for the static link usage. Towards bot lane, Gabby going to be up against Cuckoo once again. Do see March as well, just chasing Zephyr down on the Rubik. Spamming away that decay. Already have 2 mangoes ready to go. Pop one. Let's continue this decay spam. Won't really be doing much though, as Raven top lane almost going down to Tim's on the puck. He will barely survive with a slither of HP, but he will salve up. Will survive another day. Dubu now going to be chased down by Tims. KP will be there as well. Tims just not going to give up on this. Orb will be there. Dubu, he should die, though Blinding Light will allow him to survive, just barely. He salves up, he gets the hell out of there. That's going to be 2 salves committed very early from the side of Geekfam. We saw this last game, TNC just applying so much pressure to the safe lane of Geekfam. Not ever really allowing them to be comfortable in this lane. Looks like we are going to have a bit of a repeat of that. Back to the mid lane though, Ryoya. Doing pretty well in terms of last hits, 11 and 11. Really denying the hell out of Armel, who only has 4 and 2 on the OD. So Ryoya so far making this lane work quite well for himself. Mel, start with the Astral Spam once again. Ryoya does have the static link though, and he will use it immediately. Mel lose quite a bit of damage. Ryoya going to go straight back to last hitting and denying. And this should mean a much slower game for Armel in this OD. On top though, looks like they are going to lose their Keeper of the Light. KP does end up finding him, so Dubu being the first blood for the side of TNC. And you saw Tims, he was just chasing down with those right clicks, and he does end up setting up the first blood. Meanwhile, bot lane though, Cuckoo going to end up chasing this gyrocopter. Gabby will end up surviving just fine, as March did have the Soul Rip to heal him up. Geekfam certainly trying to apply the pressure back to the safe lane of TNC. Gabby doesn't actually have a salve, he only has tangos available, so Cuckoo gonna try and abuse this a bit. He will spot out a courier as well. March actually blocking the way for Gabby. Oh, March. He's gonna try and go after the Abaddon, but now his life looks to be forfeit as Cuckoo does find him. A double kill for the Abaddon. And he will deny himself off to the T1 tower. But March, giving them a freebie. Gabby will TP back straight away to get back to that farm. Bit of a misplay, though, coming out very early on from this safe lane of TNC.
Dire structures are fortified.
Raven. Being a fair bit of harassment, but in terms of last hits, he's at the top of the board. Of course, with that Dragon Blood, just keep passively healing up. It's going to be a bit of a scuttle over those boundary runes up at the top lane. Raven is going to be the target. Tim's going to continue chasing him down. Mana coming in from Dubu, but they aren't giving up quite yet. Raven so close to dying, but he's so darn tanking on this DK. One more right click would have done it, but he doesn't find it from the puck. So TNC at least force out the DK for a little bit. Won't quite find what they wanted. Meanwhile, mid, Ryoya, again with the static link, being quite aggressive with that usage. And as such, has really shut down Armel on the OD. 7 and 18 on this Razor in comparison to the 16 and 5 on the OD right now. It's like Dubu is just getting to stacking for his team. Of course, when you're up against the Gyrocopter, you've got to be very careful not to allow those stacks to go the way of TNC. Zephyr, going to rotate in mid lane, but doesn't quite have the range to find Armel with the lift. Dubu will join as well on the keeper now. We do have a rotation in from Tims. He doesn't have the Dream Core yet. He's only level 3. But just with that Orb and Silence, he might just find Dubu. In fact, he jumps in for the Silence, ignores Dubu, and is going to go after Ryoya on the Razor instead. Still holding on to that Orb. Fadebolt will come out from Zephyr. Ryoya falling low and will not go down. The Aphotic Shield from Cuckoo just in the nick of time. And now he will try to turn it towards Tims on the puck. And it looks like he will find the kill as well. Great rotation there from Cuckoo, saving that mid-Razor and finding a trade. Geekfam happily backing out of there now. 2 to 3 lead their way. 1K net worth lead as well going their way. And so far, at the very least, they have won the top and mid lane. It looks like they have found a trusty shovel. That will be on Ryoya, I believe, on the Razor, perhaps. In fact, he's given it to Dubu on the Keeper of the Light. The shovel is arguably one of the better items you can find in the jungle, especially if you find those bounty runes. Dubu. Careful, he's getting very, very low. March won't be able to get the decay off.
Dire's top tower.
You'll see Tims here as well, trying to ensure that the side of Geekfam can't freely farm this jungle. With all these stacks being taken, Ryoya is finding quite a few items for himself.
Bow to your lord.
Back down to the bot lane. Gabby farming pretty decently on the Gyrocopter. He was slightly behind though earlier on, so he's just trying to catch up. Cuckoo hasn't really left him alone on the Abaddon either. So KP is going to be the top of the net worth board on the Venge. Does have the full Helm of Dom up. Does go ahead and take himself a Centaur Conqueror. Looks like both sides just going to be comfortable to farm for a bit. Royal Jelly going to be found by Armel. off bot though. Gabby gonna get caught out. Static Link will be there as well as the plasma field, but here come the rotations. Still, they found the gyrocopter, but can TNC punish? Looks like the tombstone was dropped. March trying to hold them down as long as possible. Now Ryoya gets stunned up, but still they're being controlled up here by Geekfam. In fact, they might lose Armel on the OD, and they do. They'll lose March as well on the Undying. KP now gonna get chased down, but no, he swaps Tim's in. Tim's will all the way. KP may not be so lucky though. He will go down in the end. And Tim's, he didn't actually use the orb. He's just going to try and make a run for it, but Zephyr is on his tail. They will leave him be, but that is a massive win for the side of Geekfam, finding 4 heroes for the price of none. And they should be able to secure quite a few banner runes as well now.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Tim's is going to try and go for the steal. Does throw an orb out. It will not find it. Ryoya, he didn't actually orb back Tim's. I think he may have used that orb a second too early. He had nothing to go back to, and Ryoya just finds a very, very easy pick-off as well as the bounty for himself. So 2-8 now. 3K net worth lead for Geekfam. Gabby on the gyro is still desperately trying to get his farm up. Same goes for Armel, who was just shut down by Ryoya on the Razor. Geekfam not looking to slow this down at any point. They've started taking over the Radiant side jungle now, trying to maintain map control. KP. Pump some Ancients, but Geekfam are going to show themselves. Raven. Dragon form up, goes straight after the puck now, and well, Tim's doesn't really have anywhere to go. He will try and orb away and does get away with it, but the neutrals will take him low enough that Raven's poison will tick him out. That is just so unfortunate. Meanwhile, March goes down to Cuckoo up at the top lane. And that's going to make it a 2-10 now at 11.5 minutes in. They are going to claim that T1 mid tower as well. The Dragon form does take it quite easily.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Geekfam.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
Looks like a completely different team going into game 2. Just really getting all of it together and making it work. At least for now. And Armel doing the best he can. It's just so important that Armel and Gabby can get up and online as soon as possible going to this mid game. You see, they do have the stronger late game in the OD and the gyro regardless, but I don't see Geekfam waiting that long if they do take control throughout the mid. KP gonna rotate in. March does end up going down up in the mid lane. Ryoya does find him by himself. The gank attempt though onto Raven will not work out. He just pops the drums and runs away. Zephyr is there now as well, and it looks like they are going to make a slight chase onto KP. He's going to walk out of there safely. Instead, they'll rotate up top. They'll see Gabby on the gyro. Tim's is there with the Dream Call though, so they do have to be a little bit wary of that, but Dubu has the Will-O-Wisp, doesn't drop it yet. We'll start off with the Blinding Light. Now lift, he's going to be there onto the park. Tim's getting very low, and it looks like he is just dead. March, he popped the golem, but is it even going to matter? Will-O-Wisp comes out from Dubu now. Blinding Light as well. Still, they've got control of this Undying, and March, he is just dead. Now the swap away. And the buyback will come out from Tim's. Do they still want to fight this? Raven, he gets swapped on top of the cliff. He's just stuck there for a while. Cuckoo's going to chase Armel though. Ryoya finds Gabby on the gyrocopter. They are perhaps going to find the OD, though. No Dream Call. Insanities does no damage. Dubu ends up finding KP. They're going to go for more now in the form of the OD, and Armel has nowhere to go except down, and that is exactly where he goes. And with that, a tier 1 tower to be taken once again by the side of Geekfam. The buybacks were there from TNC, or at the very least on Tim's, but it just didn't matter. Just seems like they're way too far behind right now. With that Geekfam, they still have Raven on top of that cliff. He's got a TP in 1 second, but they know he's there. Raven gonna go for the TP now. Gabby didn't have the homing missile available to throw out. Cuckoo, while he's still around, does take the bounty and gets the outpost. He has borrowed time available. He should be perfectly fine here. In fact, they may try and turn this, as Ryoya does rotate in on the Razor. They do go for the standing click on Gabby. Now the rotation from Zephyr on the Rubik, but Gabby looks like he's just dead. Ryoya does get stunned up by KP, but is it going to matter? It certainly will. Armel will find the Razor kill. The Geekfam are going to be able to walk out of there. Tims can Dream Call and does do so. Still have the battle with the Phonic Shield, but apparently it won't matter. TNC do surrender, do find the kill. And it looks like it will end up being a 2-for-1 trade for the side of TNC. Zephyr, nice little juke there on the Rubik, and will manage to get out.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So although you lost Gabby on the gyro, it doesn't matter too much. You still found some very valuable kills on the side of Geekfam. But Geekfam do maintain a 7k net worth lead going into 16 minutes.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
TNC now perhaps ready to go. They're going to scout out Ryoya. Certainly not the easiest target. But Dream Call in 15 seconds. Armel
Dire's top tower is under attack.
going to be able to walk away.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That should help.
Another Vampire Fangs being dropped. This time Raven picks it up on the DK. Do see a defusal coming out on Gabby now on the gyro. TNC slowly but surely clawing their way back into this game. Got some decent farm coming out on Armel and the OD. Gabby is still fairly behind on the gyrocopter, but gyrocopters do tend to catch up pretty darn quickly.
Top tower is under attack.
Thing is, though, you look at Zephyr on the support Rubik. He's got BOTs and Blink Dagger up now, so he can just be all over the map. So you could expect Geekfam to start being even more aggressive.
My belly bursts.
Staff being completed on Armel. Bit more mobility for this OD, a bit more of an escape mechanism coming out. Raven, very soon he will have the full BKB up. He does find himself another Grove Bow. Armel got to be a little bit careful here, but he does have the help of the Undying around. Raven just going to hide in the tree line for a bit. You will see rotations now coming in from Geekfam, though. They have smoked up. Looks like the setup is there from Raven. He stuns Armel straight away. March will pop the golem, but it doesn't matter. The Will-O-Wisp will be there onto Armel, and it looks like he just goes down. Now they take an easy kill onto March, and there's really nobody else from TNC around the area. Geekfam may just start pushing in that bot tier 2 tower. TNC. They may even lose Tims, though he does orb TP away. It looks like he will end up surviving. But a 4-19. Geekfam just not letting off quite yet. Gabby, this is not where you want to be right now. Gonna spot out Dubu. There will be a TP in from Tims. Looks like Raven will manage to walk out of there safely. He has the 10-second BKB charge now available anyway, so I don't really see them being able to kill him off. To make matters worse, now the rest of Geekfam are here and ready to go. KP gonna scout him out, but we'll throw out the magic missile, but there's Zephyr with the blink and lift. He does steal the magic missile as well, and it looks like they have found KP on the Venge, although he is still surviving. Now the Dream Core comes in from Tims. The flak cannon from Gabby as well, doing a fair bit of damage, but not quite enough. Blinding light to fly out. Raven, he BKBs up as well. Zephyr, another stun, so he does find KP on the Venge, and it looks like Gabby is just going to be surrounded. It's going to be a double kill coming out from Zephyr. And the rest of TNC just get the hell out of there. And so far, not one teamfight has really gone TNC's way. And mind you, they didn't have Armel there to help out. He understands, he just needs to keep farming up right now. There's no need for him to try and push the issue. But Geekfam, they are not slowing down. Another smoke. They're going to find Armel. Will-O-Wisp will be there just before the 4-stuff, and now the blinding light. Statin Link to follow. Astral will delay things for just a bit, but Armel does appear to just be dead here, as he is surrounded once again by Geekfam. They extend the lead to 10k now. In fact, we'll have a quick look at the Dota Plus probability, and it is at 97% the way of Geekfam. Meanwhile, at top, Zephyr does get caught out by the Dream Core, but Tims, he needs more damage output. It looks like he will have Gabby there to help, and now the Dream Core's been stolen, but it doesn't matter. Zephyr will end up going down. But while all that's happening, Geekfam will happily go ahead and trade his life for a tier 2 mid-tower. Still, though, the fortification will protect the tower for now. Geekfam, they will stick around in the Radiant side jungle, at least for a little bit. It's like Gabby, just trying to finish off that BKB on the gyro now. We'll go for the Aghanim Scepter after that. Geekfam looking to perhaps smoke once again. That is exactly what they do. What do they go for though? They are going to run through the east side jungle of the Radiant. They may run into KP on the Venge. And yeah, they do. Zephyr immediately blinks and lifts. Raven is there with the follow-up stun, and there's just no help around for KP. And with that, an immediate transition into that tier 2. In fact, they may go for a tier 3 afterwards. We've got so much time on that dragon form left. And yeah, that's exactly what Geekfam want to do. Straight into that high ground. There's no buyback available on KP. They're going to jump in straight onto March. That Undying is not going to sustain that much damage. And with that, it's a 3v5 situation. The Raxes now are exposed, and that's exactly what they go for. Geekfam, at 23 minutes, going to take a Rax, though no, they jump in straight after Tims as well, and the puck is gone. He does have buyback and does expend it, but the Rax is already gone. Geekfam, are they going to keep going? It looks like they actually are. Straight into the secondary tier 3 at the bot lane. Raven still holding on to that 9-second charge on his BKB. They'll take the tier 3. Form is about to wear off, so they'll back out of there safely. That is just a huge win for this Dire side.
Radiant's bottom
There appears to be no comeback in sight for the side of TNC yet. March will buy a smoke though,
has fallen.
but perhaps this is the play they need.
Is under attack.
They won't smoke up quite yet, but they're just out on a dewarding mission. Geekfam setting up for that bot lane once again. Butterfly will be there now for Ryoya on the Razor. Just bring it out on the Courier. Raven does have that level 3 dragon form and will start moving in. In fact, he goes straight after KP on the bench. Tombstone is dropped, but look at that Will-O-Wisp. Just perfectly placed by Dubu. They'll find one in Gabby. KP goes down as well, and March is just a sitting duck. He's gone. This could just be GG. They'll buy back on March. But again, they don't have buybacks available on the Gyro, nor do they have it on the Venge. And in fact, they jump straight back in on March and the Undying. BKB popped by Armel. He's going to have to try man fight by himself. He does get into his fountain, but it's going to be a dieback on March, and the GG has been called. In Geekfam, they're going to go for a rampage. It will not work out. Dubu will steal it with the blinding light.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's courier has been killed. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
That should help.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
I deserve this.
The master is here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
A prize.
Gold for me.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's top tower. Radiant's top barracks has fallen. Radiant's top barracks has fallen. Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower is falling. Radiant's middle tower is falling. Radiant's middle tower is falling. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The all-knowing one senses your regret.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.